Well, Safe Jerseyans, it's great to be with you on this Tuesday afternoon. We're in Medford, one of the big battlegrounds in this year's election 2021, New Jersey. But we have with us someone you recognize who's not from New Jersey, but she's putting a lot of effort in here this cycle. She is Ronna McDaniel, the chairwoman of the Republican National Committee. You know her from your favorite Sunday morning programs, but she's spending some time today coming down here to whip up support for Jack Ciattarelli and the rest of the New Jersey Republican ticket. So she's kind enough to sit down with us for a few moments.
Thanks for having me. I'm so excited to be here.
It's an absolute pleasure. We appreciate you coming. In New Jersey, we always need the support. I have to tell you though, so this morning I'm going through my email, trying to get it out of the way before today's big conversation, and I had a fundraising email from the Murphy campaign.
Okay.
Accusing you of being a liar, bringing up election 2020 again. I have to ask you, do you think this is a case of psychological projection on the part of the Murphy people?
I think it's called desperation because they see the energy behind Jack Ciattarelli. They're seeing the numbers close. They know what's happening nationally. Joe Biden is a disaster. Democrats are destroying our country. And Phil Murphy, you know, is a high-tax governor. Businesses are fleeing. People are leaving the state of New Jersey. And I think they're really hungry for a change. So they can attack me all they want. I'm going to stay here and make sure we take back the governor's mansion.
Now, obviously, Joe Biden did pretty well here in 2020, but a lot has changed since then. All of a sudden, it seems like the mean tweets are not as big of a deal for people when they can't get food on the grocery store shelves. I know my Halloween costume, I just found out it's not showing up in time. Not as big a problem as what some people have. Do you sense the turn, even here in New Jersey, that maybe some swing voters are beginning to change their mind and maybe give the GOP a fresh look?
We're seeing this everywhere, where independent voters, those true swing voters, are feeling the Biden policies. They know they're paying more for gas. They know that their grocery store shelves are not stocked. They know they can't get their gifts for kids for Hanukkah or Christmas right now. I mean, so many things are really hurting. It's costing more to heat our homes. You're going to feel that soon here in New Jersey. So many things are hurting because of Biden policies. And I think the other thing we're seeing is a labor shortage, because the Biden administration paid people to stay home instead of getting into the workforce, which is why we're paying more, right? You had to pay people more to work, and that cost has been passed on to the consumer. And so we're all paying more and we're hurting. Our dollars are going less and less far, and we're all struggling under this Biden administration and Democrat policies.
And it's been particularly bad for suburban women here in New Jersey, starting with remote schooling last year. Obviously, women are the drivers of our workforce here in this state. Do you think that female voters in particular that maybe moved away from the party in the past few years have an opportunity to come home this cycle?
Yeah, I'm a suburban mom myself. I'm from a state not dissimilar from New Jersey, where my kids weren't back in school full-time in person. One, they're at a disadvantage to the kids in other states that were full-time in person. And we're seeing the suffering that our kids had from not being social with their friends, from the education, the stress, the anxiety. And I think a lot of women are not just looking at that, they're looking at the defund the police movement from the Democrats. They're looking at Democrat candidates saying parents should have no say in their kids' education, and really removing parents out of any say in what their kids are taught, refusing to even let parents know what their kids are being taught. So I think a lot of women are waking up to, wait, this isn't what I want. This isn't what freedom is. I definitely need a voice in my kids' education. In fact, I need to advocate for my kids.
What's your advice specifically for Republican women and Republican candidates in this environment? Recently, our former Republican governor, and I should say Republican Governor Christine Todd Whitman, who has been on a liberal trajectory for a long time, actually criticized Diane Allen and suggested during an interview that she had somehow gone to a radical fringe since when she was in the state Senate and the governor worked with her. Obviously, Governor Whitman has an agenda. She's demonstrated that for some time, but this is real pressure that Republican women get from the culture. What's your advice to them?
Listen, I've been a Republican my whole life. I voted for George Bush. I voted for John McCain. I voted for my uncle, Matt Rooney. I voted for Donald Trump. And the policies of our party have not changed. We're for lower taxes. We're for individual freedom. We're for getting rid of regulation and getting the government out of our lives. These are standard bearers for our party that continue. We're for hard work. We're not for everybody being on entitlements and government handouts. We're for enterprising Americans being able to achieve the American dream. That's what our party stands for. That has not changed. The party that's changed is the Democrat Party. They are walking away from the police. They are saying we need more regulation. They are stopping our energy independence. So many of the things that they're doing, look at our border. They're abandoning rule of law and allowing people to come into this country illegally. The Democrat Party is embracing socialism and communism. The Republican Party is the same conservative party it has always been.
When we asked our listeners at Save Jersey and our readers one question they wanted to ask you, surprisingly, it wasn't really an issues question, it was a logistical question. I think a lot of times up here in New Jersey, we're further away from D.C. Rightly or wrongly, we feel a little neglected. They said, please ask the chairwoman, what are she and the RNC doing for New Jersey this year and next year as we try to get the Murphy Democrats out of here and packing?
Well, I can already say the investment that the RNC has put in New Jersey this year is more than any other committee, even the RGA, has put into New Jersey. And that's the Republican National Committee that's done that. We have staff on the ground. We're preparing not only for this race, but for your state legislative races and also for congressional races that will be instrumental in taking back the House in 2022. But the investment in New Jersey is real. I've been here 2 times in 2021, and we have a great staff on the ground in New Jersey that actually understand your state. Some of them are from your state, and we're working hard to make sure we can change states that are traditionally seen as blue, blue, blue to purple to red.
I think you've already been to South Jersey more times than Cory Booker and Bob Menendez, so I think you're off to a great start.
Thank you.
Chairwoman, it was fantastic to get a chance to sit down with you. Hopefully we'll be in touch again, if not this cycle, definitely next year in 2022. We know, am I unfair in saying this, the path to the majority for Republicans in Congress really does run through the Garden State.
It does, and you've got some key seats, and I'm looking at them. I actually just ran into one of your candidates for LD21 who's going to be in that Tom Kane district, and I'm like, how's it going? I was looking at the numbers, but this election's key. You have early voting for the first time, 10 days out. We really need to show up strong, and this is a practice run for 2022, but we can win the governor's race here and really shift New Jersey, and that's going to be better for everyone.
Chairwoman, thank you so much. Thanks for visiting.
Thank you so much. I appreciate it.
Talk soon, everyone.
Nice to see ya.
Go vote.
Go vote.